Croeso i'r rhifyn yma o FCTV lle byddwn nhw'n canolbwyntio ar bioamrywiaeth. Fy enw I yw Geraint Jones a rwy'n swyddog technegol yn arbenigo yn y sector coedwigaeth a bioamrywiaeth. Yn ystod yr rhaglen hon, byddwn nhw'n ymweld â fferm Mountjoy yn Sir Benfro lle mae ffarmwr Will Hanna wedi ymgymeryd mewn audit bioamrywiaeth i weld sut mae ei system ffermio yn ehangu ar yr amrywiaeth ac yn efennydd sydd ganddo yno. Ond, cyn hynny, ewn draw i weld sut mae Hugh Jones, ffarmwr yn pentre ger Rhuthun, wedi ehangu a cynyddu bioamrywiaeth ar ei fferm.
Dyn ni ar ffarm Hugh Jones yn pentre heddiw, ffarm arddangos cyswllt ffermio. Dyn ni Ffog Cymru yn wneud arolwg ecolegol yma. A mae Hugh wedi bod yn dangos yr holl llefydd sydd o ddiddordeb mawr i bioamrywiaeth ar y ffarm. Wedyn Hugh, dyma un o'r llefydd mwyaf pwysig. Sa'n ni'n tybio yr coed yma ydych chi wedi plannu yn fan hyn. So, sut dath hwn o gwmpas?
Oedd a'n rhaid blin ac yn serth yma, yn ôl berig efo tractor. Penderfynu bod yna well opsiwn i roi plannu coed yma. Wedyn mae ddan yn gwylod yma. Oedd rhaid glyb, a ni'n cael helynt o fflwc. So, ni'n rhaid coed gyfro hwnna ynddo. O'n i'n cael fwy o golledion o defyd nag oedd yn werth. Mae'n 8 acar yma i gwmpas. Mae'n bron i 8,000 o goed. Pa i species yn ei gael yma. Y syniad ydy bod nhw'n goed neu dyfu wyna coed derw fath o fan sy'n mynd i stryglo dyfu. Ar ôl chydig o flynyddoedd, o'n i dechrau tynnau nhw allan a folwg wneud beth efo coed derw dyfu yn ei canol nhw, Dyna ni'n gobeithio. Sa'n fydd i ganir.
Mewn ffordd, dych chi wedi gwneud dipyn bach o'r natural regeneration fel dyn ni'n dweud, ac hefyd, so dych chi'n dysgwyl hwnna digwydd bod dych chi wedi rhoi rhyw hwb bach yn y cychwyn. Am o'n i, gythoch chi grant i wneud hwn?
Y Woodland Creation Scheme ar y job da mewn Mike Hughes o Coed Cymru helpu fi o lot o hwn. Gofio ddall bod o'n bwysig roed y goedan iawn, y lle iawn i dyfu. Lot o redyn yma o hyn, be dwi'n disgwyl wneud ddigwydd eich coed mae dyfu dros nhw. Yn lladd nhw wedyn bach o canopy. Wedyn Pen o'n i ddechrau tynnau nhw allan, gwneud bethau eraill dyfu yn ei canol ynddo.
Na chi, ie.
Naturiol.
Wel, ie, fel dyn ni'n gweld y fan hyn, unwaith mae dipyn o haul, mae yna bentwr o blodau yn does o gwmpas y lle, adeg yma o flwyddyn yn amlwg iawn. A ie, chi'n iawn, mae'r wneud y rhedyn na gael ei cysgodi allan, a wedyn os gennych chi rhyw darnau glir fel hyn trwy'r coed yna lle, dyn ni'n gweld y gloywi byw a pethau fel yna, arbennig o dda i'r holl pollinators dyn ni'n sôn amdano dyddi yma, y gwenyn a pethau fel yna. Na, arbennig.
Ta Hugh, diatem gwahodd ni yma heddiw. Wedi bod ddwrnod bendigedig ar y ffarm ac yn gweld yr holl gyfoeth o gynefiniad gen ti i gynnig yma. Dyn ni sôn am y gyfoeth awrychodd a'r math awrychodd sgen ti yma, a'r dull reoli sgen ti. A dyn ni'n sôn heddiw efo arolwg bioamrywiaeth wrth reswm, ond wyt ti wedi bod rheoli ar gyfer cysgod ag yn y flaen hefyd. Ti'n gwerthfawrogi hynny'n fawr ma'n amlwg?
O, ni wedi gael amser wynda. Bob dydd ydych chi'n gweld, ma'n wynda wrth y grych ynddo. Dyma'r gwynt yn dod o'r dwyrain o'r de. Mae'n wynt go ar ynddo. Mae'n bwysig iawn yn yr ha hefyd, cysgod a hael. Pesgi wyn mae'n bwysig. Mae gres yn fawr yn stopio'r o dyfu ynddo. Ond bod fi'n gwneud y paddocks yma, dwi'n symud gwarth teg rawd. Peth cyntaf yn o'n wneud, dwi'n mynd at y grych.
Da ni wedi trafod y poi cylchtro yma o blaen. Ti'n sôn am gwartheg yn mynd drwad i'r ardal newydd o gorfa, ond bod nhw'n mynd rownd y grych a mae rhaid bod nhw'n cael rhyw faeth penodol o ryw ddeilen o rywogaeth arbennig ar hynny ac yn dilyn y grychodd rownd hefyd cyn dod yn gol i'r gorfa. Ond hefyd sy'n amlwg yma, y dull o reoli. Wyt ti wedi gadael y gwrchod yma datblygu strwythur, cry, cadarn iawn, yn amlwg efo sôn am gysgod ac yn o blaen.
Ie.
Ond wyt ti wedi gweld pori cylchdro yn gwneud gwahaniaeth i hynny?
O, maen nhw'n trochi lot mwy wel. Maen nhw'n cael bach o rest. Dyn pori yma am nhw 2-3 diwrnod bob 2 wsnos.
Da ni wedi bod i fyny yn y coed bore yma, gweld y gwaith rheoli sydd wedi cael ei wneud yn fan o, a'r holl goed derw sy'n tyfu nhw. Sy'n gallu tynnu rei allan ac yn datblygu hynny chynegu gwerth i raddau yn prosesu polion ar gyfer y ffensio. So mae'r adnodd yn cynnal y ffarm i ryw raddau, yn dydi?
Polyg ias yn dweud ydy. Dig polyg ias sy'n paro.
Wel, mae wedi fel dwi'n dweud, yw diwrnod gwych. Diolch yn fawr iawn i ti. Ddown ni yma eto ar ddwrnod arall. Mae'n debyg, ond am heddiw, dweud diolch yn fawr iawn i ti. A diolch yn fawr iawn i'r gynulleidfa.
Diolch i chi.
So we're a grass-based late spring calving, but we're a block calving sort of 370 New Zealand Friesian / British Friesian cows. So we calve end of March and then graze through the season and graze quite late into the autumn then. So we rely a lot on our grass wards and our grazing infrastructure, such as tracks and water troughs and such. In some ways, we've been rotationally grazing now for sort of close to 20 years. And probably just by doing that, the rotationally grazing was building soil organic matter because we were hitting fields, taking covers off and then moving on, and probably trampling some in as well. But basically we were finding that when we started looking at the soil organic matter, that our soils tended to be fairly high in organic matter, sort of above 10, sort of 11, 12, 13%. And then we also saw fields that maybe we'd taken on or something like that, which were lower, and they tended to, when we tested them, they tended to rise up then by up to 1% organic matter a year almost, and that was on the rotational grazing. I think when you're rotational grazing, the cows do trample in more grass and also obviously dung on it. So I think we build faster on the grazing land than we do on the silage ground where we're taking it off more clean and probably not putting as much organic matter back down. Or that's what we seem to see anyway. And that's reflected, we think that's reflected in our worm counts, which we certainly see more worms and probably lighter soils on the grazing ground as opposed to the cutting ground. So we haven't used a plough on farm since I've been back from university anyway, so that'll be 10, 12 years. So yeah, we've been surface cultivating basically, so we've been, so we pick a field that's performing poorly or we want to reseed, and when we spray it off, and then we tend to do spring reseeds, just because grass is growing fast at that time of year. We also have a lot of dry cows at that time of year, so actually our demand isn't too high. So we tend to spray it off, graze it with dry cows so we can strip it bare with dries, and then we go in with either a power harrow or a rotavator and just chop the top up a little bit, just to create a bit of a tilth, and then we roll that broadcast seed onto that or iron box seed onto that, and then roll again. And by that we only really are disturbing the top inch or two of soil, so it's not a completely min-till where we were slot seeding, but it's the compromise basically. We're not going any deeper than 2 inches, so we're not destroying any soil structure below. We had previously, I remember when I was in my teens, we used a plough and a power harrow, and we actually had to go through that field twice. It was a heavy clay soil, but we had to go through it twice with a sward lifter just to try and take the power harrow pan out of that field, whereas now doing reseeds like this, we never see any pans when we dig down. We've deliberately been putting clovers in, Aber clover varieties. everlasting and different varieties like that, which are clovers which are quite tough and they do seem to last better than they used to possibly. We used to, historically we spread quite a bit of nitrogen, we were spreading up to 300 kilos per hectare, whereas now we've got more land, we're lower stocked now, we've been fortunate to take land on, so we're using the clover more basically, and we're only spreading say 160 kilos of N. I think last year we spread about 167 on average across the whole farm for the year. So we've been able to reduce our inputs on N, but the clover, and a lot of that is, we still spread the N at the start of the season, but as we go on through the season and the clover really kicks in, we can now really reduce our rates back for the rest of the season. So we just vary where we spread, and the clover's definitely playing a role, and the clover likes that. The less N you spread, the more clover you'll have. So it's sort of playing with it.
But again, multifunctional really, the work that you're doing, running hand in hand with nature and producing biodiversity, but very evident as well in the fields that are following good practice. And there's a clear definition of a buffer zone between field edge and field where you've been spreading nutrients.
Yeah, that's true. The tractor's very good actually, especially by the stream boundaries. He leaves a good buffer strip, to be fair. So no, he's good, and we do try and try not to spread too near the streams and stuff. Well, the field edges, like you say.
It makes that in itself makes a difference to the biodiversity at the base of that hedge, obviously. But really excellent following good practice in that regard.
Historically, they were tall hedges anyway, possibly in the past. Yeah, they haven't been cut as regularly maybe. As we cut them now, we tend to cut them yearly now. But yeah, I value shelter in that we try and keep the hedges high. I don't ask the contractor to try and lower the hedges at all. Because we are quite exposed, especially as I say on the higher, slightly higher elevations. So yeah, it probably is mainly shelter that we keep the hedges high. But also it's we like to have a wide range of habitat as well, and if it's just a case of leaving your hedges a bit higher and it providing more habitat, then we're quite happy to do that. That works with us. I think the hedges. Yeah, I think the main thing with the hedges probably is that we always rotationally graze, so stock are always moving. They're never in one place for. Even on, the cows are never in one place for more than 12 hours, but even the heifers are never in one place really for more than 3 days. And once they finish the grass, they're moving on. So probably just that rotational just means that the hedge gets, because when you see the calves go in, they do come and browse on the edge of the hedge, which is good. I think sometimes the field can be a bit lush really, and a bit of roughage and a bit of grass in the hedge or a bit of long fibre isn't a bad thing. So it works both ways. But I think just keeping the cattle moving has definitely helped our hedges probably, and why we have these thick hedges.
Okay, well we're here now at home farm, and looking behind us, a range of hedgerows again, maybe not to the same structure because we're at higher elevation, more exposed, etc. But interestingly, looking at the volcanic plug behind us, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's a solid granite volcanic plug. You see them in Pembrokeshire, sort of a granite backlith which is underneath Pembrokeshire, and they pop up here. Plumstone, which is just up the road, and then St David's Head is all part of the same understructure. It actually means when the granite there breaks down, it breaks down into clay, which is why you can see on the banks here the yellow clay. So we're sat on about a 90-acre patch of yellow clay, which is great for digging slurry pits or silage pits, but not great for early and late turnout of cattle. But again, it'll grow through a drought, and it also carries a great topsoil on it. I don't know what it is, but we do build. I suppose this is around home is probably has had the longest rotational grazing. It's been in rotation grazing for 20 plus years, and we do end up with really dark, thick topsoils. So it's very fertile soil. It's just you just have to manage it well.
And again, alluding to the high organic matter content in it, so it's good for the brilliant for the environmental performance and the economic performance of the farm.
Yeah, it will lock in a lot of carbon. It likes, you know, things which like high fertile soils like docks, love it. But so we have a few challenges. But no, it is good. It actually recovers. You can turn it black, and within 4 weeks or so in the spring, actually it'll just recover and it'll look a completely different field. This field behind us, we had calving cows in this spring and made a bit of a mess over there, but you'd never pick that patch out now, just because of that soil depth and organic matter. It does recover really quick.
Very quickly.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's definitely a feature of our farm being right next to the rock, and it means we're easy to spot from a distance.
Excellent. With regards to the farm's carbon footprint, what's your thinking on that?
Yeah, well, we are, with our milk contracts now with Arla, we're scored yearly on, and we do a carbon footprint yearly. Arla want us to obviously lower our carbon footprint and be aware of it, because as a company policy, they're going carbon neutral by, I think it's 2050, and they want to go half by 2030, I think, or 2035. So they're keen on us doing our bit, and I think as an industry we do need to show, you know, farming is a fantastic resource to lock carbon in. It's a huge missed news story, really, is that, you know, people love to bash farming for all the methane or whatever, but they completely miss the fact that, you know, these landscapes just lock in so much carbon. And you know, green growing grassy landscapes really, and hedges, you know, are a fantastic resource for locking carbon in.
It's that part of the equation, isn't it, where you're on the one hand you're working hard to reduce emissions with food production, but on the other hand, working hand in hand, the sequestration element in the equation, and as you said, locking up the carbon from your soils to your hedgerows to your wooded areas and riparian zones, and all in all a fantastic resource here. A dyna ni, wedi dod I ddiwedd yr rhaglen hyn. Os hoffech wybod mwy am unrhyw elfen o rhaglen, cofiwch gysylltu gyda eich swyddog datblygu lleol neu ewch i'r wefan.